Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with Point Firearms. Going to bring you guys a video today on the Benelli Nova 12 gauge shotgun. So what we're going to be going over today is disassembly and reassembly. This shotgun came in to me from a customer. He's used the heck out of it, which is what Benellis are made to do. He's a big duck hunter, spends a lot of time out in the wetlands doing pheasant hunting, and so the Benellis, they're great shotguns for that, mainly because of the composite stock, composite frame, and obviously the composite forend. Now this one, like I said, it's been through the rough, and it's got a lot of scratches and a lot of surface rust and things like that on the barrel. So what we're going to be doing is disassembling it, giving it a good cleaning, and then I'm actually going to be Duracoating the barrel and the mag tube and all the metal components for it. So we'll be Duracoating those, getting it cleaned up back together, and back just in time for this fall's pheasant season again. So anyway guys, in this video all I'm going to do is go over disassembly and reassembly, cleaning. We're going to do a separate video on how to clean your firearms and what I use to clean them. And then on another separate video, I'm going to be going over Duracoating a shotgun barrel. So keep an eye out for that video. It'll be coming up soon. Like I said, in this video, we're just going to be going over disassembly and reassembly. So I've already cleared the weapon. It's safe to handle. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so the first step in this process of disassembling this one was to remove the sling, which I've already done. So we'll go ahead and set that out of the way. Sling's pretty easy to remove. If you've got one with a sling on it, you should already know how to remove it. Alright, the next thing we need to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the barrel. Removing the barrel on a shotgun is fairly simple. It's very straightforward. It should be pretty easy to do. Most shotguns are. With the Benelli Nova, you're going to rack your slide to the rear and then pull it back forward about 3 inches. Then loosen up your front nut here and remove that. And then from there, you're just going to pull the barrel right off. You see it comes out just like that. Very simple. Alright, so there's the barrel. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside so we can get it ready for Duracoating. Alright, the next step is to remove the trigger guard and the trigger assembly. Alright, and the cool thing about the Benelli shotguns is it doesn't really take any extra tools. The front cap that we took off, the front nut, it's got a little peg in the top of it right there. That works perfect to push the pins out. So with Benelli, what you want to do is you want to push the pins from the right side, which is the ejection port side, to the left. So we just use our little nut. Now, in this case, this shotgun's been setting for so long, I'm going to be really surprised. Well, it's been setting and it's dirty. I'm going to be really surprised if I can get these out. Oh, one down. Cool. Alright, so just remove your pins and then your trigger assembly. Well, it should pop right out. There we go. It's tight. A bunch of gunk up in there. And there's your trigger assembly. So just remove the 2 pins and pull it right out. You know, it's pretty dirty. Alright, so once you get the trigger assembly out, then you can pretty much go ahead and just pull your forend forward, and it'll come right off of the mag tube. Pull that off and set it aside. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the firing pin carrier, bolt pin, all that good stuff. So what we want to do is you want to push it to the back of the firearm, and then you want to stick your finger down inside of here and right on the bolt face, push it back, and when you push it back it's going to rotate. When it rotates, that allows it to come off of the little slide bars that are in there. Then just lift it up and out, just like that. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to be Duracoating the mag tube and you always want to clean your mag tubes anyway. There's a lot of crap that gets built up in there. So in order to get that out, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is just turn the mag tube, unscrew it just like normal. Just like you would anything. Right you tighty, left you loosey. When you take this off, be careful because you've got a spring load. Your spring is in there and it's loaded. So it's be easy pulling it off. And then you can pull your spring out of your mag tube. And also, if you have a duct plug in, Benelli's come factory with a duct plug, so pull that out. And then we have our magazine tube. Alright, and then inside of here you're going to have your little cap. And you want to just push that out and make sure you clean that really well. Alright guys, so that's pretty much the whole disassembly portion of a Benelli Nova. It's pretty simple, just like that. Just a few parts and you can get it torn apart and ready for cleaning. Now you can disassemble the carrier and the firing pin and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Alright, to disassemble your firing pin assembly, your bolt and firing pin assembly, you got to remember that this thing is under spring pressure. Alright, so you got to there's a couple of tricks to take in order to get it disassembled without losing your spring or putting your eye out. First thing you want to do is just take your thumb and push the back here. Push the back of the firing pin forward and then just hold it just like that. On the back side of the carrier, there's going to be a pin with an O-ring on it. You just want to stick your thumb under there, if you can get it with your thumb, and just pull it out. Just like that. Once you get it pulled out, you can release the tension on your firing pin, remove your firing pin spring, and then to get the actual bolt face out, the bolt face out, you're going to have to use a punch and knock this front pin out. Alright, so there's the pin, and then we'll remove the bolt. Alright guys, that's a complete disassembly of your Benelli Nova shotgun. So go ahead and get it cleaned up, and I'm going to go ahead and get this one cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and Duracoat the barrel, let that cure and all that good stuff, and then I'll come back and reassemble it, show you guys the steps for reassembly. It's pretty easy. Alright guys, so I've got the Benelli all cleaned up now. And we've got our Duracoating done. You can see here this barrel looks a lot better now. We've got a nice Duracoat. This is Duracoat's black oxide finish. What it does is it gives it a deep black color while leaving it kind of porous so that it still resembles the barrel of the Benelli. So we went with that. Turned out really good. We also went ahead and painted up the magazine tube and also the charging bars that go on the handle or on the fore end there. So basically everything's apart still and it needs to be put back together. And so at this point what we're going to do is we're going to start by this process by installing our magazine tube back into the frame itself of the gun. Now the magazine tube, it doesn't need to be locked in there real tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of grease on it, and that'll help out a little bit. If I can get the grease cap off. There we go. do is just put a little dab of grease on the threads here. Now normally for normal cleaning you wouldn't have to take the magazine tube off, although I always recommend taking it off if you can, if it's not too big of a hassle, because it's nice to get it all cleaned out. It makes operation a lot smoother. So we've got our little cap here. It goes inside. You need to put that in first. Be sure that you put that in first. And then we've got our spring. And our spring is going to go up in here. And then the spring sets right inside the cap. And now the trick is pushing the magazine tube over the spring and getting it into position here. Screwing it on. We want to go ahead and slide our forehand grip back down. Over the magazine tube, just like that. And then we're going to set that aside, and we're going to go ahead and reassemble our firing pin, bolt assembly, all that good stuff. So remember, we have our pin, firing pin, and then we have our two regular pins, our bolt face, and then our carrier. Now what we're going to do is, I'm not going to use the graphite lube on that. I'm going to use a little bit of oil on my Q-tip. And the Benellis are pretty cool. They don't take a lot of lubrication because they've got that real high gloss finish on them. But we're going to put a little bit of oil inside of here. And that's just going to keep any carbon from building up in there. And then we'll take just a dab of oil and rub it on our firing pin. And once again, it's not necessarily for lubrication on these, it's just to help make everything run a little bit smoother and to keep carbon from building up on it. Alright, so before we put our firing pin in, we need to install the bolt assembly here. So we get it lined up, tap our pin in, just like that. Bolt face should move freely there. Now we'll take our firing pin and spring. We have our spring on there. Slide it right in the back. Put some pressure on it with our thumb and run our rear pin in. That's the one with the little rubber washer on it. Now, just like that. So that's back together now. So now what we can do is go ahead and get ready to install that back into the shotgun. Now there's a few key parts in here, and I use this. It's kind of like a graphite gel lube. The graphite lasts a lot longer. This is made by Shooter's Choice. Now, if you ask me, nothing beats good old hops oil. But for the Benelli, since they're already coated in all that protective gear and all that stuff, we want to go ahead and use a graphite just to lube up our metal where it's going to run. Just like that. And we're going to go ahead and reinstall. Slide it back and forth a couple of times there. Make sure we bring our charging handle back on it in the right position. Go ahead and pull it back forward a little bit so that we can get our trigger assembly back down in there. Now our trigger assembly, we're not going to use regular hop sool. We're going to use a little bit more of the graphite lube because there's just a couple of places that we need to touch. With the lube, and that is going to be on the back side of our trigger cylinder here. The trick with lubricating is anywhere where you have metal on metal contact, like right here and on the back side of the trigger assembly there, you want to lubricate that. Anywhere where there's metal on metal contact, have some lubrication in there. Like I said, it doesn't take a whole lot, but makes cleanup a lot easier. Less carbon buildup. And then also springs. It's a really good idea to lubricate springs. Not a lot, just a little bit. We'll go ahead and charge that back down. And reinstall this. And then remember how we knocked the pins out? Knocked them out from right to left. So putting them back in, we're going to install them left to right. Make sure I have the right pins in the right place. And I don't. One pin's a little bit longer than the other. The longer one goes in the front, the shorter one in the back. Just for an FYI there. And I didn't check it before I put it in. I just stuck them in there. Now it's going to be a pain in the butt for me to get them out. There we go. Much better. Alright, so shorter one in the back, longer one in the front. Alright, we'll go ahead and rack it back. About halfway there, leaving us a couple of inches here on the front for our barrel to slide back in there. Now before I put the barrel in, because I Duracoated it, I took the front side off of it, so I need to go ahead and put that front side back on there. So give me just a second to do that. Alright, so I've got that done now. So we can go ahead and install the barrel. Trying to keep it here in the camera angle for you. Install our duct plug back in here, and then screw our cap on. Functions check, and that is how we disassemble and reassemble a Benelli Nova shotgun. So Benelli Novas, Benelli shotguns in general, are very simple, very easy to disassemble and reassemble. They did that for field stripping, the purpose of pulling it apart in the field, cleaning it up real quick, and getting back in the game or back into the hunt, and that's why they do it. So they did a magnificent job at designing it, and so I hope the video helped. The one last thing is the choke, and if you're familiar with shotguns at all, if you're going to be disassembling one, you should know about the choke tube. Different choke tubes for different types of shot, different patterns, and so the choke tube on the Benelli goes right in the end of the barrel. It's completely recessed. And of course you're going to use your choke tube wrench, and you're also going to want to remember to use a little bit of choke tube lube so that it doesn't seize up and it's not hard to get out of there. So anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've got some use out of it. If you learned how to disassemble and reassemble your Benelli Nova for cleaning, then I've succeeded at my job. So anyway guys, until the next video, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. I'm Bobby Hughes with Point Firearms. Thanks for watching.